My name is Wes Gurley. I'm professor of philosophy at Sam Houston State University, and I grew up in Texas. In fact, I grew up in Dallas, or in the areas around Dallas, Texas. Um, Went to school at Pierce High School in Richardson, Texas. I tell you that because growing up in Texas as a gay person is not always thought of as one of the more comfortable possibilities for a person's life. And so I would like to mention something about my experience because I think that that's going to be really important with regard to what I say or what you might take from what I have to say. I grew up in the 70s, really. I mean, my high school years were in the 70s in Richardson, Texas. And the way I was treated was sort of as an exception. It was already pretty clear to the people who surrounded me that I was gay or was leaning that direction. And I was really surrounded by a lot of people, a lot of really good friends who, while they may have had some sort of objection to homosexuality, um, acted as if I was the exception to their rule. I remember a number of situations where people outside my sort of immediate circle of friends might try to be threatening to me, or might start making fun of me. That's really the way it worked. Might start making fun of me, and my friends would sort of surround me and say things like, "He may be queer, but he's our queer, and you'd better leave him alone." And so my experience was really sort of a soft experience with regard to threats and whatnot. I felt very protected and safe. I mean, and my friends, my family was very open-minded. Was always raised in this sort of liberally minded family, and so I didn't have any trouble when I came out to my parents about it. Though I did have some fears about that. They actually were very loving and accepting, and I don't care what you are. I've always sort of sensed that you might go that direction anyway, and so I had a pretty comfortable kind of environment growing up. Now, I moved away from Texas for a while and came back fairly recently, in the last 3 or 4 years, and it seems that the political climate in Texas, and by political here I mean the political climate for LGBT people in Texas, has changed considerably since I grew up here. So whereas before, in the old days, there was a kind of open-mindedness that surrounded me, it seems that there's been a kind of closing of the mind. It seems in many Texas communities that I've experienced. I mean, right when I moved to Huntsville, for instance, I went to a place that does hair. I needed someone to do my hair, and I walked into the place and said I need to make an appointment to get my hair done, and the girl scheduled me an appointment and said, and by the way, I've put you with our male stylist, and if I can, sort of emulate her accent and whatnot, she said, but you don't need to worry, but he's not gay, so you don't need to worry about that. And I thought, wow, what a strange thing to say, and so my immediate reaction was to say something like, well, we'll just see about that, or should you be telling people that this male stylist is not gay because, I mean, who wants a non-gay male working on their hair? But then I thought that's not really the right way to go about this. But I did, voice to her that I have, a concern about that kind of question. Why would that matter to anyone? And so I left with my appointment card and uh, called the soonest I could and spoke with one of the owners of the place and said, that kind of attitude, indicates to me that I'm not the kind of person you want in your establishment. Anyway, the point of all of this, I think, is that the realities of Texas communities are something that we have to deal with, and to me, that's the kind of biggest threat. I mean, to people in our community, and that rather than being quiet about it, I mean, rather than just sort of bowing our heads and thinking we have to accept this, it seems to me that we should call people on the things that they say. I mean, indicating to them that, look, you're assuming something that may not be true about everyone in the neighborhood. Yeah, so that's kind of how I feel about that. Now, my experience at Sam Houston State University, by contrast, has really been very warm. The reception of the people in my department, of the people in the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, of the students, of everyone that I've encountered has been very open-minded and helpful. And so the big threat to me, I mean, it seems, is one of how to navigate between the open-mindedness of the university community and the relative closed-mindedness of the city of Huntsville. And I would think that that might be true about any university that sits in a sort of smaller community rather than an urban environment. And so I guess that the piece of advice that I would offer would be, that enough um, enough advancement, I mean, has been made within LGBT communities to where we don't need to be quiet when we encounter something where someone's obviously assuming that because most people around here think a certain way, that everyone around here should think that way. And so my recommendation, I mean, is to not be quiet about these